In 3.4, we learned all about the inverse trig derivatives. So you could be asked to find the derivative of the inverse of sine. It's really just asking you for the derivative of the arcsine of x, the inverse of sine. And if you memorized your old chart, all your inverse derivatives, that's great, awesome, use it. But, you know, we're gonna have a lot of stuff to memorize when it comes time to take the AP exam. So let's try to figure out if there's a way we can figure out what these inverse derivatives are on the fly. So when we first learned about inverses, probably in an Algebra 2 class, you were probably told just flip-flop the x and the y. So instead of y equals sine x, we can have x equals sine of y. Well, what does that even mean? Well, it's the sine of an angle has a ratio of x. So that's a little bit confusing. So let me rewrite that as sine of y equals x over 1. Now it's more of the opposite over hypotenuse, the y over r. So thinking about this in terms of a right triangle, let's come over here to make our right triangle. The sine of y, so apparently y is our angle. The sine of y equals opposite over hypotenuse. All right, well, what does that make the adjacent side? Let's just call it a for the time being. So a squared plus x squared equals 1 squared. So then a squared will equal 1 minus x squared. So then our a is going to be the square root of 1 minus x squared. So that's our side right here. I'll write that in. Okay, how does that help? I don't know yet. Let's just keep going. What are we ultimately trying to do? We're ultimately trying to find the derivative of the inverse of sine. Well, here's the inverse of sine. X equals sine y. We can get rid of this if we want. And let's take the derivative. The derivative of x is 1. The derivative of sine y is cosine y dy dx. Don't forget the implicit differentiation. So let's find dy dx. Dy dx. Divide both sides by cosine y. And sure, we can write that as secant y if we want. I'll leave it as 1 over cosine y. But I want to get my dy dx only in terms of x's. So what is the cosine of y? Well, that's why we did this triangle over here. We have an angle of y, and we have an opposite, an adjacent, and a hypotenuse. So what is the cosine of y? Cosine of y is adjacent, which is the square root of 1 minus x squared, over hypotenuse, so just the square root of 1 minus x squared. And math is nothing more than substitution. Dy dx, if I can get this x, is going to equal 1 over the cosine of y, the square root of 1 minus x squared. And that's all we needed.